This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So a skill agent is missing in cloud server. So how we can automate on cloud PaaS SQL server when there is no SQL agent? There are multiple ways we can do it. So we'll run through today and tomorrow on that. Okay. Fine. So networking will open because automation account need to connect to this. There is an automation. We're going to see that and review and create. I'm going to see that how we can do the multi-server automation or single server automation. We can do anything. So you can automate something on one server, it hits all the servers, which can be in one can be in India, one can be in a different region, doesn't matter. As long as network can communicate, it can trigger the job on multiple servers at one go. It's like a central server, like multi-server job management we have in on-prem. We'll see that. Right. So as we don't have a skill server on the PaaS, we can use on-prem skill agent. This agent we can use it to run the jobs in the cloud, but you have to link it to do that. Okay. How do you link it? We will see that. Okay. So there is something called ODBC. It will go through the external connection. That's why you have to go through ADBC and create the DSN to connect to the cloud. In fact, okay, we'll see that. So first, I wanted this to come online. Hmm. One is Central India. Okay, I'll create two databases here. One is AutoDB, one is normal DB. For automation, we need to dedicate one database like MSDB. Okay. It need to have a minimum of 10 DTOs and standard tier. If you go the basic, it won't work. Minimum database must be under standard. But we have DTO based model, in fact. I'll create one more database. Right here, I'm going to create a lab file. Right. So next, I'm going to connect to the servers. For that, I need to open my IP to connect from my laptop first on both the servers. Fine. So now we have the server. So I wanted to use on-prem SQL agent to automate something on the cloud database. It's empty as of now. There is nothing in it. I'll create one table at least. So you cannot use the on-prem agent to do the structural changes, but DML changes you can do it. I'll show that what is the limitation we have to automate something from on-prem. It is only DML changes. DDL is not allowed. So anyway, that DML is also required automation for some time. So you have to link them. So how do we do that? We'll see. Simple anyway. Right. I created a table. It is empty right now. Right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the ODBC connection. It will go with the ODBC only. It's generally SQL to SQL, the OLEDB. OLEDB is a driver which will communicate, in fact. But here it is external connection. It will treat as external connection. You have to go to the ODBC connections. So to create the ODBC connection, just type ODBC. Every laptop will have this. Okay, every laptop will be default drivers. You'll find it. If it is 64-bit, go with the 64-bit. If it is 32-bit in your operating system, go with the 32-bit. So it depends. So now I'm going to go system DSN add and ODBC driver for SQL Server 2017. In fact, use that. Use this one. SQL Server native client. This is what we have to use it. Actually, not this one. In fact, we can use this. Native client is a good. This will have some issues. In fact, go with this. Native client 11.0. Finish. And what I'm going to give this a server name, this alias name for your server. So cloud server, I'm just giving our cloud DB, whatever it is, whatever you wanted to keep it, keep it. And here you have to give the server details. This is server, right, for us for now. So I'll pick this, give the server name, hit next. And what is authentication? I'm going with the SQL account and this is SQL account password to talk to the cloud server. We're giving the server, we're giving the username password. It will go and communicate. And to what database it has to connect to do the automation? I want it to be AutoDB, sorry, CloudDB. You can only do the read or read write. That's it. This is what you need to understand. We cannot do alter, create, drop, truncate because it is maximum allowed to read write maximum. We cannot go with the structural changes, but you can go with the DML changes. This is a limitation with this. Hit next. So leave as is. Test the connection now. It is successful. It is working, which means so Cloud DB, what it is connecting with. Now I'll go and link with the Cloud DB in the on-prem server. Okay. Now I'm going to create a new link server. That was Cloud DB, right? Here I can give any name. Cloud test. This is another alias name. So here you have to use Microsoft OLEDB provider for ODBC driver because we created ODBC driver and the product name is MSSQL. The product what we are connecting, data source is Cloud DB. Okay, the database what we are connecting is lab. Sorry, cloud. Okay, this is the connection names, DSN name. This is something is a product. What product we are using, and this is a database to which it is connecting. Security, what is the account it is going through? Come on, I need to test this anyway. Then you enable the RPC out or RPC. This must be true. If I run a stored procedure remotely, it has to get the rate out of it using the stored proc. Remote procedural call and remote procedural call output. In fact, out means here. That must be true. Click it OK. Now test it. Is it working? Absolutely working. Now I'll go to here in the on-prem server. I'll do every operation in the cloud database. See, this is the cloud. I'm reading from the cloud server. It is empty. There is nothing. I'm doing the activities from the on-prem server now. So insert into the server name is cloud test. It's not case sensitive. So what database I'm going to? Cloud. And what schema DBO? It is a hierarchy, nothing else. Student. See, this is your link server. And what database you are connecting to? Cloud. Right? This is the database. Under that database, what table you are connecting to? What schema you are connecting to? DBO. And what table? Student. So you are reaching that entire thing. Okay. Server, database, schema, and table. Then values. So just follow it. I mean, it's not too tough anyway. Okay. Just I'm keeping some random data, guys. Here one more recall. Let's enter to see this. I'll collapse this. Right. So if I do this, it should insert the data in the cloud. See, I'm keep running it 4 times roughly. You go and read from the cloud server. I did insert it from the on-prem. You see the data in the cloud. See this? I'm running this from the on-prem. The same way, I'll go with the update. Update. You have to use this. Okay. Set S name to Ravinder, where S number equal to 3 something. Okay. If I do third record is what? Bhaskar. You see this one? Every time it is Bhaskar. 4 times it should be Bhaskar, right? 4 times the occurrence of S equivalent to 3 is available. Now I'm doing from the on-prem. If I do this, it did 4 times. If I go and read in the cloud, I'm doing from the on-prem. This action is doing from the on-prem through the link server. Now if I go and do it, wherever Bhaskar was there, Ravinder got replaced. Right? You can do this. Now, if you wanted to delete, maybe delete from You have to use this where s number equal to 3, something. So I wanted to keep this in the job. Like we had to automate, right? We don't execute all the time. So let's create a new job. Cloud testing, cloud cloud export, whatever it is. Just I'm keeping a name. Let's say use master, not an issue. Okay. Now I created a job. Before I created, if I read, there is a Ravinder record, right? It is there, of course. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run the job in the on-prem cloud export. This one, right? If I run this, it go and affect the data in the cloud. See, third record is gone. You were having 20 records, now 16 records. 4 records got deleted with this your job, right? This way they can write their own logic. They can they can daily update the data in the cloud using the on-prem job, whatever the data they wanted to. Okay, they call the entire the hierarchy, how they need to talk to the cloud server. They have to give the link what we have used and database schema and object. That's it. That way it will reach. It has to work anyway. You have to test it. It is working, and this is allowed to up to DML operations maximum. You can read only or DML. If I wanted to read, how do I read? The same thing from on-prem, right? You can read like this. Clear? Any questions on this, please? This is one of the automation you can do it from on-prem on the cloud server because cloud does not have agent to trigger the job. You can trigger from the on-prem, but that is limited to DML. Any questions? We are done this. Okay. If you don't have questions, let's move on. This is on-prem automation, on-prem SQL agent automation. Next, let's move to Elastic agent job. Okay. If you see, I don't need this on-prem anymore. There is AutoDB and there are no tables in it. It is empty. Let me connect to other server also. Let us cover both the topics at the same time. Here also absolutely empty. There's nothing in it. Right? There's nothing. So there are steps to do this. It's not direct. Okay. First, I need to create a Elastic agent job. There is a service, in fact. Here, this one. Elastic job agents. This is service. Create Elastic job agent. This need one server, one database to live it. To create the service, you need a database. That's why I made this AutoDB. You can name it anything. It does not need to be AutoDB. It can be any name. So I'm going to create this. Using this, I'm going to automate the jobs. SQL automation, whatever it is, I'm just going to use it. Okay. And select the server and database. See, select the job database where you wanted to deploy the service. So you have to select the server, which one on which you wanted to do it, in fact, right? So I'm going to go and use it, AutoDB, for this. That's it. Review and create. There's nothing else you have to do. There is no additional cost for this. This comes at free of cost, which is quite good. So alternative to SQL agent, obviously. When this get created, it creates a lot of tables, in fact. Here. Like sometime 3-4 minutes, in fact, to enable that. The tables which creates by this configuration for internal tracking. See, you don't use these tables for any other purpose. You have to dedicate this database for automation. You don't create any user data there. Generally, it is like MSDB in the cloud for us. It is created. Right. Now, if you go to here, when you click on this, there are jobs, but you don't have any job right now. Okay. So, and what are the jobs you created? How they are executed? Is it ran or successful? The status will be updated here. So everything you do from the SMS, but the reflection will happen in the cloud. We'll see that. So the process is here. I written it follows 6-step process. In fact, the first step is done. Create a Elastic Agent job agent service and use one of the database for creating Elastic Agent job objects. We did this. Create a login and user. See what it is doing. Let me explain diagrammatically just to have an idea. You have a automation database, right? You have the automation here in one of the servers in my case. And you have one more server somewhere around the world, a database. And you have a database on the same server also. You're triggering some task here. It has to go to this and this automatically and trigger that action. To trigger it, it need an authorization to enter into this database and do the activity, even in the same server, even in the different server. Because cloud follows the container user concept generally. You have to map a user who can have an access to that. We create a credential here. We will create a credential. The credential account, whatever we're going to create, that should have the access to this and this, so that it can go and talk seamlessly and do the job what we are asking, in fact. So for that, create a login. You can directly create container user also. You can create a user also, not a login and user also, which is both are fine, in fact. So this user, what I'm going to create, a job user, specifically dedicating for jobs only, kind of. I'm going to create everywhere. What other server it is going to hit as a login, every server. Oh, sorry, it must be right. I'm going to create as a login. Logins can be created in the master, in fact. All right. Next, this account is created, and this must be mapped as a user on all databases, including the AutoDB. Login exists, but the login should be valid. So create the user and give the DB owner privilege. Uh, if you don't want the DB owner, give the data writer at least, so that it can do the DML operation. DB owner, if you give it, it will do the DDL operations also. So I'm going to create this user everywhere. Okay. Here, because I'm going to hit all the databases internally to do the task. Wherever it has to be done, you have to map that to have the internal authentication done. So now I need to create a credential on the AutoDB so that it can talk to the other databases using the credential. The credential will hold the username and password. Identity here is a job user for us. This is a username, right? We must match that. It's like just a story account kind of thing. So you're talking to the external source. The external source is actually the user and the password. When I call this name in the script, it will go and call this login and password, and it can talk to all the databases because I made this login exist everywhere and has access everywhere. So that way you call this name in the script and it will trigger that. Okay. So for this, you need to create the master key. Master key is anyway, it is not required for us, but it is required for the credential to be created. So I need to create the credential on the AutoDB only, not on all. Okay. So this credential will be called out. It is done. Credentials have been created. Now I'm going to create the groups and execute the jobs. So these groups, if I go and see in the cloud, there is a concept called target groups. Here it is. It is empty. It is empty. I'm going to create a target group in everything in the AutoDB itself now. Everything is in the AutoDB because you're going to operate from the AutoDB. So I created a group. Now you can find a group here. I need to refresh. See, target group is created. Now, what are the servers you wanted to keep under that? So now I wanted to keep multiple server or one server. It is up to you. Multiple servers also can keep in that server. So I'm going to go and keep the script. So first server or second server. So this test 080 it is matching. So here S1 add target group member in the group of SQL group. What I created a group here in this server. I'm adding a member called SQL database. The member is SQL database. 7M is this test 080 and database is lab. I have to match what database it has to hit as an automation. And then this one lab 080. So I have to change this one to lab. You need to call the right server. And what database we have? Cloud. Okay. We are creating a group. Under a group, we are adding members as servers. Okay, these two servers I'm adding it. Done. If you wanted to see the members, what are the members added into the group in the feature, you can go and run that command. Okay. So I'm running this. If I run this, you'll find these are the different server, two different databases where it is hitting. Okay. Right. Next, you wanted to create a job first, then create the step and execute the step. I'm creating a job called SQL job. This is a description. You can give anything here, doesn't matter. Description. Job name matters here. So I'm creating the job. Now what the job has to do on the group. So we are adding a step to this job. Add a step. And what I'm trying to add is a table called lab. Maybe teacher. Let's call it as teacher. Here it can be anything. Okay. Don't T number, T name, right? And T address something. It can be anything. It can be any command, any stored procedure that you want to execute. Anything they are executing through a job, you have to keep it here. And it is calling the job credential I created here. This will call the AutoDB where we are doing AutoDB. It will call this. It will use this username and password to talk to the target group. Target group has two servers. The two servers I created this login and the password, and I gave that user DB owner on these two databases. It internally communicate and do the job for you. So I'm asking this job to create a table, in fact. So I'm creating a job right now. I'm not executing. And this job is creating on what group? SQL group. SQL group has these two servers and these two databases in it, right? And it has a credential. The credential has a username login, which can communicate to these two databases in the background. So now if I run this, it is created a job. Now I wanted to execute the job. If you wanted to see the job, what the job is doing, what has inside in it, so you can go and verify it using this script. So it is this command running on this group. Okay. If you know the group again, how do you read the group? You just have the group, replace the group and run it. How many servers you have in it. So I'm going to start the job. Before I start it, there will be no teacher table and the both the servers, and it will create that basically. Here you have student, here you don't have anything in fact. So this is a command to run the job. If I run the job, you can even find jobs here. What job I created, SQL job, right? And if I go to here, there is no job run as of now. I'm going to run this job. It ran successfully. So you wanted to know the status of the job, you run this command again. What it is done and is successful or not. If it is failed, what reason it is failed, it will write the details here. Oh, come on. Job, it is failed. Why? Failed to log in, failed for job user. Why? Just a minute. Test at the rate 1234. When we created a login, what is the password we have used? Uh, Job user test. This should be okay then. Mm-hmm. I did not create a login. Here it seems. Job user exists here, but there is no login. Here the login is there. It is there. Then how come this got failed? Let's troubleshoot anyway. Something job user here. Test at the rate 1234. Job user. Okay. Job user test at the rate 1234. This should match and it is matching. It's in progress. Anyway, it is failed. How come? Need to retry. Why? Just a minute. Let me test it manually. Okay, I did not map under master database. But why would I need actually? I mapped as a user, right? That's enough. Did I use the master database? Okay, to access the credential, it need a master database user. What? Mhm.
It's something like we have to create the user under the master database to access all the databases.
Yeah, the credential created in the master. That's why it is. Credential I would have created under use database itself. Okay, this one I created on the AutoDB only, right? already exists, then it is created in the user database only. Should run, in fact. This we did many times. I did many times, in fact. Credential job user test 1 2 3 4. Job user credential. Is it the correct name what I have used here? Job user credential. This is correct. Skill group is correct. The skill group is correct. What the heck it need? It need things are correct here. Server name is correct. Database names are correct, right? Lab 008. So cloud and lab. There's nothing wrong in it as far I see here. Let's execute the job again. Skipped because it's running. Previous execution is going on. So I can kill this with this job ID. Previous is still running, in fact. So I had to kill. We can kill the job. Just it went for the it runs for 15 minutes before it fails. Okay. I'm gonna kill this. Okay. So then I'm going to run this. Now if you see this one, it is cancelled, 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 cancelled. Okay, now I'm going to run the job now. What is wrong? What went wrong? Why it is not able to talk? User is correct. Calling this user. Any spaces between? All right. Let me rerun what it says. Somewhere credential should be correct. Identity under identity should be correct, of course. Hmm. Null targets. I did create this user in the master, right? I should have. If not, it won't work. Here, did I miss this? It is there. The heck it need then? Hmm. where it is waiting on. So you see this in progress. This is the idea how to kill. How to kill. There's a waiting for a reply. This one. You can see the statuses as you're doing the jobs here. The skipped, cancelled, cancelled. This is job status. Um, so what is messed up here? Job step, SQL job, what we call and credential SQL group. And SQL group has these two servers. These two servers. We have the credential. Hmm. Oh, come on. This got the space, it seems, huh? Identity. The space created the mess. Hmm. Maybe that could have been an issue. Just a minute. Most probably that could be the issue. The heck it is saying. Fine. Okay, let it be. Now, if I see anything is running, skip, cancel. Fine. Now I'm going to run this job. This should work this time, I feel. Succeeded, right? So, which means that space created the mesh, right? There was a space before, just before the user. Yeah, there was a space. So that created the mesh. So it was in the document, the space, and then that's how the space was created. Fine. If I go and check here, you'll find the teacher table. So here, teacher here, and you'll find the teacher here also. What is the script? You have to place a script in this area. What they give it, right? Teacher is here. Now I wanted to create a stored proc, okay, and both databases. You don't do this, but we need, right? Create procedure name as sp underscore test data, whatever it is, as insert into. Let me close this all. I already have the insert statement, I guess, so I wanted to pick that. Oh, closed it. Fine, anyway, I'll do it. Insert into teacher values. I'm going to insert few records. Something like this. Okay. Insert, then update. Set tname equal to under where t number equal to 1. Delete from teacher where s number equal to 2. So if I create this stored proc, what it does, it will insert the data. Teacher table is already created, guys. It will insert the data Amar, Prem, Jyoti, and Bhaskar, and it will update the record Amar with Ravinder, and it will delete the record Prem. So uncorrect the syntax nearest number. Where is this number? Oh, T number here. It got created. Now, if I execute this, so if I go and check this, here it is empty. I'll execute the stored proc.
So
Where
the
did I miss?
address doesn't have the varchar. You didn't put the varchar of the
Oh,
size for the varchar. Yeah.
right. Uh, oh, I did not mention that. Fine. I can change the design quickly. Varchar 1, okay. Good catch. It took 1 by default. Right. So now let's execute this. Executing on the cloud DB here. So here, uh, you don't have any data as of now. I'm executing the stored proc. It insert 4 and update with Ravinder first record and delete the second record. So let's do this. Now it is successful. If I go and read, see first is second and second record is gone. It is executing, right? So what I'm going to do, mm, let's truncate the data. Done, right? So come on, there's nothing in it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a job. Group way is same. I'm going to create job 2. Under job 2, what I'm going to do, I'm going to execute the stored proc. Previously you executed a script, this time you are executing a stored proc. That is the difference. Okay. And group is same, credentials are same, everything is same. So then I'm going to create this job. Then if I execute the job 2, it should load the data again here as well as here in both the servers, because we have the target group has 2 servers included in it. I want to just close this off. Fine. Now I'm going to execute that job 2. Now if I read the job execution, it's successful. Let's see, can in the find in the portal also what is the status of that job. It is successful here. Oh, it went to issue again, it seems. Why? Went to retry. Cancel. Where is the job 2? Oh, sorry. I did not give that. I did give this, right? Job 2, did is not triggered yet. Ah, okay. Succeeded with skipped. Okay. Previous execution is still running. The hacker assign. Second time. Succeeded with skipped. What is succeeded with skipped? Anyway, you see the data here. Twice I ran, okay. Huh. Why not here? Test 008. 113434. This is okay. But why? Why it is skip further server? Okay, okay. I did not create the stored procedure there. What I created. In this server, there is no stored procedure in fact to execute. I created only in one server, not in the second one. That's why it is crying. There is no stored procedure, but here you have it because I just created. So I'm going to script out and script there. Got it right? Why it did not execute? Because the stored procedure itself does not exist on this. So what it has to do? Clear? Say something, guys. You guys are so silent. In fact. So run it again, again. It does the job. So now if I go and check, succeeded, and I can find in the portal also it succeeded. Skipped in progress. This in progress one I have to kill. Why? Because it was just waiting on that. So where is it? Waiting for a reply. This is the idea I have to kill. Now we go and check in the portal. Test cancelled. Now you see the data in both the servers. What? Here it is done. job 2, credential group, execute spender script as data. This is what we did right. It should execute successfully. It should not go into in progress mode, in fact. Oh, succeeded. Fine. If it succeeded, we should see the data here. Okay, now it is working. Fine. Took time to detect that short proc. Yeah. If I run again, you see there are 6 records here. See? It is running fine now. That's what. You need to see the date. Here all in single date. In the real time, you see this date. That way you can troubleshoot. Even in the portal also here, you can troubleshoot. So what job you are looking? So only job 2 status I wanted to see. If there are many jobs, of course, you wanted to troubleshoot that, just give a job name. That way you can troubleshoot on date with the date wise. You can also read from here also with the date wise. So that way you can form the elastic agent job. Any questions? We are done with the elastic agent job.
How can we check the steps information um, for the each job? Like,
You have this. This is a script. You have what the job is doing.
okay,
Like,
so
oh, if
so there is no interface like in the
no, no,
cloud side, right? No, no. Only
no.
script.
Yeah, how many jobs you created and all that you can find it. How many target groups you have it and all that. What credentials you created, job code user credentials, and what is the status of each job that you can find. But what is there inside the job, you cannot see it from the portal. What is there in the target group also you cannot see it. Only the scripts can help you out on that side.
Okay, so do you have any script for scheduling as well?
Yes, yes. Scheduling, I kept it. Let's do it. Why to talk? We have the link. I posted the link here. Scheduling a job. You wanted to schedule a job, jobs update job, and job name is what, and enable for the scheduling. Scheduling interval minutes every 15 minutes you wanted to run. Every day at what time you wanted to run. So this is scheduling a job, in fact. So if I wanted to schedule that job every 15 minutes, if you go into this, you'll find a lot of schedule. I mean, examples. I wanted
Hmm.
to schedule this skill job too, just as my case. So I wanted to run every 20 minutes, let's go with hours, maybe instead of minutes, hours. And I want to run every 12 hours, something. And the job name is skill job 2. So you can see that when you see the jobs in the portal, version is this, run query and start time, end time, interval once only. It is not scheduled. And scheduled for enable, no. So if I run this, if I do this, it will change that status there. Job 2, sorry. Now it is executed. Now if I go and check here, it will change things here. This is one reoccurring. This is a reoccurring job. It runs every 12 hours and enabled for the scheduling is true. This way, you can enable it. I kept it here. If you click on this link, it will take you with a lot of examples of scheduling. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So here you have the schedules, a lot of things mentioned. So this is vague. Microsoft always they don't give you things straightforward. So you just follow my document. If you see this, like document, you might confuse. Only look for the schedule here. Other things don't look at there. So scheduling a job. Here you can give a minutes, days, hours, and you give how frequently you want it and all that. Okay, that we can change it if you wanted to. Right, cancel a job also we have seen, delete a job. These are all steps we have it with it. This has, see here, if you wanted to go with the once, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, and then if I wanted to give weekly ones, as in my case, my job need to run weekly ones. I'll give week here and then once in a week that way. Okay, so we go through it. It has all the details. I kept the link here. I'm going to share this document today. Right. So there is one more automation we can talk about is logic apps. Let's talk about that. We use SQL, this mostly this one, not the logic app, but still that is also another option. We can do that. Where it has
So
come.
I have one more question. So if you have um, um, in the SQL servers in the VMs, so
Mm.
if about if you have like a 10 servers in the 10 VMs, so if you want to integrate all the jobs in the servers into the Elastic pool, we
No,
can
no, no.
do that.
This is only for the pass.
Only pass. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because there is no SQL agent, right? We have
Mm-hmm.
logic apps in my favorite. So here it is. The top itself, fine. So now let's create this quickly and then I'll execute one at least so that you get to know. One job, one logic app. That's how it is. Each job should have its own logic app. So this will be an alternative solution for the SQL logic app. So something like this. On the server, SQL job one. Just go with the workflow and create the job where the server exists, the region. Always go with the consumption, not the standard. We wanted just the consumption. Standard is for different solution. Okay. So consumption and review and create the logic app. It's simple. Right. You created a logic app and click on the logic app. All right. So something you wanted to run recurrently. That's why I'm choosing recurrence. And here, what I wanted to run recurrent. So first thing, okay, let's do this one. Designer here. You click. See, when you click directly this logic app, it will take you to the design by default. That's the nature of it. It will take you to designer. No, I don't want to go. You this is overview of the logic app. But you enter into design phase here again. There is a video which will talk about the logic app in detail. So I wanted something to run recurrently, which I wanted to schedule a job or once also is fine. So I need to run every day once and the time zone, start time and time zone, both I wanted to select the time zone which I wanted to run. Okay, and I have to give the time zone. What is the time zone should be? Year, month, date and time. T stands for time here. So 2022 month 8, date is 22, time. What time I wanted to run this? In the night at 1 a.m. This is the time I wanted. Come on, sorry. So this is a year, month, date, and time is at 1 a.m. In the night. Next step, it will join anyway. This is a schedule. It is linked to this one. Here, what I wanted. So SQL Server. There are many things here. In fact, if you go to all, see, there are many things. You can find it, right? But out of all, what I wanted, basically, I can search when it is showing all. SQL Server. Click on that. So what you wanted to execute? Delete a row. Execute SQL query. I wanted to execute a SQL query, or else execute stored procedure. Select that. Okay. Then connection name. SQL Server, or else connection name. I'll give it server name. It's Ravi 080. You can give anything there. So here you need to go with the authentication. What authentication you wanted to go with? You have to give the server name and everything. This works only on one server, not on multiple server. Okay, database name, on what database you want it to automate? Cloud. It is a connection string kind of thing. And username, Ravinder, who can talk to. Okay, gateways, we did not create a gateway, like we discussed gateway, right? So private gateway. So I'm giving the server name, database name, username, and then connection name, which is okay. Then it asks me what to execute. Schedule is given anyway in the first case. CLYUT, is it a test? Should I give it lab? Because I'm calling a different server, right? Okay, let's give it lab instead of that then. Because I gave the different server, so lab. Right. So server name is this, test 008, and database name is lab, on which it has to execute. What stored procedure? We have only one stored procedure. It'll read that stored procedure. It's loading. Right. And then save this. Right? You're done. You're done with this logic app. It runs at 12 a.m. in the night every day, but 1 a.m. I'll run. I'll trigger it. Every time you trigger, it'll add the data because it has insert statement in it. 12 records now. If I run it again, you don't run manually. There is a schedule, and you can see it. It is successful again. It is increasing. If you wanted to run a logged me off. Here, I can create one more logic app. This is only for the stored procedure execution, but I wanted to go with the script execution. Just a script. There could be stored procedure or script in a job, right? Either of it. SQL job to Ravi 08007 name. Identification purpose. Consumption we had to go with, right? And then review, create. Fine. Now I'm going to add some tasks to that logic app. Right. I'll go to here. I wanted to run this weekly maybe. and I wanted to know the time zone, start time both. So here, time zone, you can keep your client time zone anyway. I'm just keeping India 1 here, start time. 2:30 a.m. So here, you select the SQL server, execute a script. What the heck? Query. You have to give the server name. Different, this is different, right? Lab. So every time you create a different logic app, you have to create this. Each each is independent. Server we just added, database we just here I need to add the query. What is the query given to by them? Example, just a query which is given, copy paste here. I'll create table. Table name is customer and C number integer, C name. Just I'm keeping it. Some script kind of thing. You don't worry about script. Generally, they'll give it, right? This is a script, right? And save it. You're done. Now I cannot wait to just to run it, right? I am triggering it. You can find when you triggered what is the status of it. Succeeded, which means you have the table. If the job fails for some reason, how do I troubleshoot from here? If I rerun it here, it will definitely fail. It is trying to create the same table, right? It won't create because it exists already. So it will go to running mode, and then it will fail. Let it fail. And once it is failed, we'll see it. What reason it failed with. It runs for 3 iterations before it fails. So it is running on the second step. First step it went through. On second one, it is going to run a minute more, and then it will fail. Once it is failed, we can find it why it is failed. It is by default make 3 attempts. Right, it is failed. So the display will show like this when this failed, when a particular logic app job is failed. Click on that. It will take you to the steps where it is failed automatically. And click on the step where it is failed. It load the message why it is failed. So here at the bottom, the message is here. You need to look at. What is saying? The message here. There is already an object called customer in the database. So you're trying to create a duplicate table which already have it. So it won't allow, right, two tables with the same name. So you have to rectify it by looking at the message. Okay, that way you can troubleshoot a failed logic app design. So this is what is a logic app automation. Any questions? We are done with this also now. So we're done with on-prem SQL agent automation and Azure Elastic Agent job. This I'm going to share it anyway, the entire in the link. And logic app automation. Tomorrow we're going to see runbook automation, okay, and PowerShell and managed instance. Tomorrow will be the last class. I'm stopping it.